The engine screamed as his jet cut through the storm. Rain lashed across my face, my hair plastered to my cheeks, my heels sinking into the slick runway. He didn't even glance back. Why would he? His mistress was already tucked under his arm, laughing, champagne flute catching the lightning as the jet lifted into the night. He thought I'd cry. He thought I'd chase. He thought he'd left me stranded. He had no idea I'd already rented my own jet. We met 10 years ago, under chandeliers and whispered promises. He wore charm like a tailored suit, sharp, flawless, convincing. I was foolish enough to believe a man who looked me in the eyes and swore forever. Back then, his hand was steady when he signed his first deal. I was the one calculating figures in the background, building his empire brick by brick. His empire. My silence. We were a partnership, until he decided I was only useful as long as I stayed blind. The betrayal wasn't sudden. It bled into our lives like slow poison. First came the late nights, board meetings, he said. Then the sudden trips, investors, he claimed. But it was the perfume, a scent I never wore, clinging to his collar like a confession he was too arrogant to hide. I didn't confront him, I studied him. Every glance at his phone, every shadow in his calendar, every careless lie he thought I was too naive to question. When the hotel receipts surfaced in his email, charged under an alias so thin it was laughable, I didn't crumble. I smiled. Because I had enough. That night, staring at those receipts, something inside me shifted. I wasn't going to be his discarded wife, wrung out and pitied. No, I was going to dismantle him, piece by piece, deal by deal, lie by lie, until he was nothing but the ashes of the empire I built. But revenge requires patience, and patience is a language I speak fluently. I started with the accounts. Quietly, surgically, I froze access to every asset he thought was his. My name was still on the signatures, my codes still opened doors. Then the board. I sent them proof, photos, wire transfers, messages that showed him funneling company funds to his mistress. One by one, they aligned with me. Their loyalty was never to him, but to stability. I gave them that. I timed the leaks perfectly. A scandal here, a headline there. The markets dipped, investors panicked, his phone began to ring off the hook with the sound of ruin. And then, the night of the storm, I made my move. He thought I was left behind on that runway. But while his jet cut into the clouds, mine was already taxiing. Destination, Dubai. The city where his next untouchable deal was waiting to be signed. Midair, as I sipped my whiskey and watched lightning fork the sky, his phone began to detonate with the weight of everything I had unleashed. Frozen accounts, revoked CEO title, contracts nullified. His empire slipping like sand through clenched fists. He didn't know yet that I was on my way to sit in his chair. By the time I landed, the board was assembled. I walked into the conference room, the storm still dripping from my coat, my heels echoing against marble. His face was pale, his mistress forgotten at his side, her smile finally gone. "Surprised to see me?" I asked. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. The chairman slid the papers across the table, votes already cast, his signature revoked, mine replacing his. I watched the moment realization hit him, the moment he understood he wasn't untouchable. He was grounded, permanently. He tried to speak, to plead, but I cut him off with a whisper. "You thought I'd chase you. You thought I'd break. But I don't run after planes, darling. I fly my own." The room was silent, except for the sound of his breathing, shallow, broken. It wasn't rage that filled me. It was calm, precise, like the quiet after a storm, when the wreckage finally shows. Now he spends his days clawing at what's left, grounded in more ways than one. His mistress didn't stay once the money vanished. His allies evaporated. And his name, once stamped on skyscrapers, now stains tabloids instead. As for me, I didn't just take back what was mine. I built higher, stronger, alone. And when I look back at that stormy airstrip, I don't remember the sting of betrayal. I remember the roar of engines, the taste of rain, and the moment I realized. He thought I'd chase him. Instead, I let him fly straight into his own downfall.